Hello, my name is Tanya, and I'm the author of the book, Losing Porsha, We Live Through Our Loss. Today, we're going to be talking about ways to help families deal with loss. One of the first things that we can do to help families when dealing with the death of a stillborn or a family member in general is to pray. One thing about prayer is that there's no appointment necessary. Prayer line is open 24 hours a day. God is always available. And what you can do is to, pray for the families, pray for their strength, pray for their support, their encouragement, their peace. Pray for their comfort, pray for their understanding. Because a lot is going on during that time, and families that deal with loss can utilize all the prayers, that they can get. Another thing that we can do for people that have experienced loss is to just be present. That's it. Just be present. Come along. Sit, just sit with them. Just make yourself available. Sometimes people just need somebody to talk to. They need somebody to vent. They just need somebody to listen. Just be there, just be present. If there's younger kids involved, you can come over and volunteer to watch the children while they may take a nap or make arrangements or things of that nature. You can always cook a meal or bring a meal by, to help those families that are grieving. Also, it all depends on how close you are. You may want to do laundry. With me, I'm kind of funny about that, but it all depends on your closeness level. And again, like when somebody dies or lose a loved one, especially when it's unexpected, you just like with me personally, I just have a tendency to kind of like shut down a little bit and just kind of get in my own little world. But sometimes people need help, but those are like just some of the things that you can offer to do to to have or to give support. Um, Another thing, as I think back, like when Portia died, it was such a fast moving train. I know like she was born like on a Wednesday, and I want to say like a Wednesday morning, and she was a stillbirth, and my father, he had to make the arrangements. I'm thinking that Thursday, and my mom was released from the hospital that Friday, and we had graveside services that Friday afternoon. So there wasn't a whole lot of, I mean, like I said, it was a fast moving train. There wasn't a whole lot of support. And I know like one of the things that my mom was feeling some kind of way about was she felt like her family didn't support her the way that she needed to. And like my grandfather, her father was like the only person on her side of the family that attended the service. But then as I think back on that, I think like during that time, that may not have been a fast assessment. I mean, a fair assessment. And what I mean by that is like I said, she was born that Wednesday. My father made the arrangements, I'm assuming that Thursday. My mom was released from the hospital that Friday, graveside services that Friday afternoon. And so as I think back on that, and at the time I was 8 years old, I didn't, think about logistics and stuff like that. But as I think back on it, people just can't get off their, some people can't just get off their jobs at the drop of a dime, due to something like that. And when I think back on that, that's fair, you know. However, after that, they could have called, they could have visited, they could have, stepped in after the fact. And that's the part, that was not done, right? So, again, there's different things that people can do to help lighten the load. Also, in addition to just being present, this kind of ties in, too, is just make yourself available. You know, like I said, when a loved one dies, there's so many things that are going on. I mean, like for somebody that, that may have never had to plan a funeral, they may need some help. I know I was called one time, to help out, and and I did it, and help my friend go down there, make arrangements, and pick out clothes and write the program and stuff like that. Also, during that time of loss, people tend to come by a lot. phone calls. People bring by food. There's always help needed to help with that. To be an assistance. To help serve, to help clean up. Things of that nature. Also, another thing is just showing up for the service. Just showing up. That means the world to a lot of us. I remember like when my father passed away. I want to say it was like 7 years ago. This past March the 10th. And I remember, seeing some of my friends. Um, I wasn't expecting to see them, but they made an effort. And that just meant the world to me. That meant the world to me, that they didn't have to do it, but they took time out of their schedule and, went to my home city or town, and they were very supportive, and that just meant the world to me. But the whole point of this video is just be supportive, to the families. That's it. It doesn't necessarily cost a lot of money, time, effort, thought. And again, that just means the world to people. I think the worst thing that a person can do is to act like nothing happened. Now, that's insulting. And I do understand that sometimes people feel a little awkward. They don't know what to say. They feel like they may say something foolish, something that may make them cry. I get that. That's fair. But you still got to do something. Just don't act like nothing happened in this business as usual. Just don't do that part. That's all I'm saying. Well, that's it for today. I hope this video helps somebody. Next week, I'm trying to get to the point where I do a video weekly. Sometimes life be lifing, and I kind of got off track. But my goal is to do something or do a video every week, and to offer support and help. So, alrighty, that's it for today. Thank you all for watching. I'll talk to you later.